I'm here now. HotNewHipHop.com. DJ Whoo Kid. When I first started, let me see. When I first got the spark to do hip hop, I lived on Springfield and 111th Road, which is kind of popular because it's the center of Hollis and the corner of, a couple of blocks down is Linden Boulevard. Then you had Springfield, and you had Little Jamaica. In this area, next door to me was, it's crazy. LL Cool J lived on Linden Boulevard. So I used to see the skinny version of LL Cool J walk by my house like every day. So that's one spark right there. Yeah, that's pre-steroidic, whatever, energy shake motherfucker, LL Cool J. He was very skinny. He used to be I used to play handball at 34 Park, where another gentleman I used to see all the time smoking all kinds of drugs, Russell Simmons. He was at 34 Park before he got his investment from gangsters to start his label. He was very heavy in drugs at the chess table. There's a famous chess table at 34 Park where Russell Simmons was at doing heavy drugs, and he was cool. He wasn't like a crackhead or nothing, but he was a cool drug head. And then to not to mention 111th Road, I live next door to E Money Bags and Tall Stretch. So Tall Stretch was a producer / rapper from Live Squad back in those days. My young ass used to always see two other sparks coming up the block. Tupac, when he was with Digital Underground, and countless other rappers, Nas, Biggie. Everybody went to Tall Stretch's crib to get beats. So to end all the sparks, DJ Clue lived on Murdoch with DJ Envy. So I had these guys that I always would see and interact with, where I would observe Clue, who was like we both went to Queensborough College, so we both were in class, and one day he was like, I'm quitting, I'm gonna work for Jay-Z. So I thought he was bullshitting. We both were in lab or some shit, I don't know, I was cutting a frog in half, or some stupid shit, and then the motherfucker was like, yo, I quit. I'm gonna work for Jay-Z. So I thought he was lying, and then literally, I saw him in a BMW 325i, which is like, it's kind of old school, but back in the 90s, that 325i was like hot, and Clue came on the block with it and shut us down, and he really started interacting with the whole Rockefeller crew. So I was like, what the fuck? I got close with Envy's homies. Shout out to Splash. We kind of like, it was not planned. It went from like lying to stealing to hiding. Then the fame came, because Queens DJs always had exclusives illegally. You know what I'm saying? Like we would get it from anywhere, any label, any studio. We would pay for it. We don't care if it's unfinished. We would still leak it. That's why Clue had the big beef with Biggie when he went on Hot 97. He leaked One More Chance. It wasn't even finished. It was just a song and a hook. So the adrenaline rush of leaking an artist's record and them looking for you, like for weeks and can't catch you, kind of like started our career. Like that's really how it all started. And even on this block, which I'm gonna keep saying 111th Road, 50 Cent, who was known as Boo Boo, was on the block beating up drug lords that owed him money. So randomly, I would see him come up in a baby ninja. He always had like a motorcycle, baby ninja, pull over. Everybody knew it was him. It's like Debo. It's like watching fucking Friday and shit. He'll jump off the bike, beat everybody in the corner. And I don't know if they paid him or not, but I did see the beatings and stuff. And he would literally just get on his ninja and just take off. So this is like maybe 10 or 12 years before, for some reason, I'm going to be touring with this guy. So imagine like you see somebody like 12 years before anything. I was just a dumb Haitian kid hanging on my grass, because, I had a curfew, so I couldn't leave my house. So I would just sit on the grass and watch on some 227 shit, I would just watch what's going on the block. So this is what's going on all day. So if you see like a random guy, 50 Cent, he was Boo Boo, he was really big, he was like 300 something pounds, he was beating it. So I would never think that maybe 12 or I don't know how many years, 13 years, whatever, that I would be doing arenas with this guy that's just like in front of me beating some drug dealers up. So that's why this fate thing is crazy. But like I said, the lies kind of created my career because back then, you know, records were so expensive. So I would lie like crazy. Like I made believe I was touring in Japan, China. Like I make fake flyers, fake club flyers and stuff. So I would leave the flyers in all the labels, and Def Jam was one of them. And Russell Simmons, I knew it was easy to trick Russell Simmons because he lived in Queens. He's from Queens. I lived in Hollis. So those key words right there kind of like made my lie more official. So he wanted to know, who the fuck is this guy from Queens touring in Japan? I know he's not going to call Japan. I know he's not going to call the clubs there. The flyer was official. So whenever I would come up, I would interact with this guy called Chris Lighty, R.I.P. to Chris Lighty. He was, I guess he was Russell Simmons' assistant at that time, the old Def Jam on Varick. And then I would interact with him or Mike Lighty, which is the younger brother who also worked at Violator, which came later on. But records were so expensive back then, I had to lie to get the records. It was like $400 or $500 just to get waxed. So fake flyers, I'm touring overseas. Russell Simmons was like, who the fuck is this guy? My first lie got me to interact with him. He knew I was from Hollis. I knew I used to see him in 34 Park. So he kind of like believed everything, and then I became friends with him. So he never checked up on me to see if I really toured Japan or he didn't give a fuck. The fact that I was from Queens and I lived near Hollis on 215th Hollis in Springfield, that made it cool. So once I got in with him, all the other labels came in line because, you know, Russell Simmons was the god of the music industry. So my lies got me to like interact with like Hype Williams, who else? You know, Chris Lighty, of course, became like an executive after a while, but my introduction to him from Russell Simmons made our relationship secure. So I learned all the secrets from Chris Lighty about everybody else from, I mean, you name it, whether it's Jimmy Iovine, I mean, all the big execs I got to meet from Chris Lighty. So I can't say that my career was created like because I planned it. It's all from like this action, this lie, that lie. And then it came to a point where the lies started transforming into reality where I didn't have to lie anymore. Because, you know, the lies I did is because I created those lies because I know the industry. Learning from Chris Lighty, he taught me the lies of hip-hop, how people were like fabricated about how they were living. Nowadays, you could use Instagram, you could use social media, and you could be like the richest motherfucker on the planet. So he did the intro. So once he did the intro, DJ Who Kid Puff Daddy, first lie. I am Puff Daddy's DJ, motherfucker. So I toured Canada. I did much music. I bought a Sean John fucking suit. I did every TV show. They were like, this is Puff Daddy's DJ. And then one day, Harv Pierre, he had them satellite TVs and shit. Because, you know, back then, you have to be rich to have, like, a satellite TV where you could watch channels from all over the world. So he just happened, this is what I call fate. He happened to turn on Much Music, and here I am on Much Music, Puff Daddy's DJ. And then they're interviewing me about Puff, and I'm making up all kinds of dumb shit. But the fact that Harv Pierre is Haitian, he let that slide. And number one, he thought it was amazing that I toured, like, 6 cities in Canada. I've never been to Calgary. I've never been to Regina or Edmonton or Montreal, but only because I lied because Puff Daddy introed my tape. And then I took it further. When you steal songs, I put his intros in front of the songs, which led to Realest Niggas, which is 50 Cent and Biggie. So for me, I already stole the record. I didn't know where it came from. It's original, it's original Biggie verse. And I was like, yo, fuck it, put Puff on the intro. He did the drop on the tape. So if you ever hear the original song, it's Shadyville Entertainment, Bad Boy collaboration. But that's from the mixtape. But by me putting it in front of the Biggie song, which we stole, and nobody never heard it, even Puff didn't hear it. That's why even Puff. So Puff went berserk at the office, by the way. He flipped chairs and was trying to get me. But I was smart at Hot 97 because I would play it literally before I leave. So the last 10 minutes of the show, I would debut it, wear flex and Angie Martinez, Enough. Everybody's going crazy because they never heard the Biggie song. But at the same time it's playing, I'm on the elevator leaving because everybody's going to come up to the station, try to grab my ass, try to find out where I get it. And by then, I'm on my way, I'm on tour. He didn't catch me. I'm out of here. So the only time, the next time he caught me is when fucked up about the whole situation. I had to do Saturday Night Live with 50, and you have to go do rehearsal at SNL. So he knew I was up there. He knew I had to do rehearsal. I guess he called somebody to find out when the 50 Cent rehearsal is. And my dumb ass, I saw him on the left of my, like I don't know how the entrance is in now, how the entrance is in SNL now, but back then when you rehearse, you could tell like where the group come in, like the fans where they would come in. But Puff was in the entrance where the fans would come in, and I could see him like looking around. So when I saw Puff, I automatically like walked fast. I'm not gonna say I ran. I don't remember. I don't recall what I did, but I know I walked extra fast to 50 Cent's dressing room because I know if I'm in there with 50, he's not really gonna do nothing with me. But I think he intercepted me at the tee before I got to the room. And he had me, this is so funny, he had me in a headlock, like a cool headlock. It wasn't like no dangerous shit. So he headlocked me into 50's room. So 50's like chilling, I don't know, I think he was drinking like some energy shake or some stupid shit. I don't know, he was eating, I don't know, a broccoli sandwich or some dumb shit. I don't know. He was on some health bullshit. And then he looks up and he sees like me getting headlocked in by Puff. And then he starts laughing and shit. Because I guess he already knew what it was all about. So Puff is like, yo, where'd you get this Biggie song at? So me, I was like, nah, you know, it's cold in the streets. You know, DJs ain't supposed to snitch on where they get any song from. So I'm trying to tell 50, first of all, 50 did the record, which is even worse. So he's part of this fucking robbery shit. But he ain't going that fifth, you know what I'm saying? But he just wants to know where, because he never heard the Biggie verse. So he just wants to know where I got it from. So I'm like, nah, I can't. So 50's like, just tell him, man. Just tell him where you got it from, dogs. So I'm just like, fuck. So I was like, I can't really. So I'm just like still in the headlock. And then once I think I screamed out, what's those producers' names? Shit. I forgot the producers back then that Puff used to deal with. Shit. No. They were under Columbia. Damn. Trackmasters, yeah. So I shouted out Trackmasters, and he went. You know, those was, I don't know how cool they were. Maybe they were having espresso every Sunday. I don't know how cool they were. He went crazy, and he ran out SNL and left me like in a daze. Like it was good. 50's laughing, and then yeah, that started my Whoo Kid terroristic leaking shit. But I learned from like MV and DJ Clue. They're the reasons why I got into mixtapes, you know, because if it wasn't for them, that kind of like started my career. And then from there, I just got creative with it. I got celebrities to host it. I got everybody in the industry, like I said, Hype Williams, Lil X. I kind of like got cool with like everybody that had to do with anything with music, host a tape, because DJs weren't doing that. There should be a new name for the music that's out now. It shouldn't really be called hip hop. And I respect the fact that they're popular and they're getting paid. That, you know, everybody's getting paid. I DJ festivals and I rock all the new guys. I respect that. And then it kind of like opened the doors for me because I'm an old motherfucker and I'm still in front of 20,000 motherfuckers every week, you know. And then to convert from like where there was no hip hop, because I'm old school. I was around when I was listening to fucking Here Comes the Rain Again, and I was watching Video Music Box to like watching Grandmaster Flash at a park. Like I was there. Like I was there when Run DMC was in the studio. Like I was there. Like me and Rakim, you know, Big Daddy Kane, to like the Wu-Tangs, to where it switched to hardcore, to NWA. Like I went through all hip hop transitions to now, where I'm doing EDM now. Now I can rock trap. I could do, and you know, Tiesto's my homeboy. Calvin Harris, like, you know, me and Marshmello, I knew Marshmello for years. It's funny, I didn't even know who he was until he took the shit off. I was like, oh shit, I know this nigga, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's funny how the hip hop shit's interconnected, where it's like 30 years of transitions and I'm still here, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's cool. Yeah, I was a clown comedian. Ugly people were number one in my when I used to go to when I was in school. I was ugly too, so it was easy to draw myself. So then I was like, yeah, there's a lot of ugly people in this school. So what I would do is every class I would find whoever's ugly, who's fat or skinny, whatever. It didn't matter as long as you're ugly. It's hard to draw like people who are like sexy girls and pretty girls. It's hard to draw them. But if you're goofy, your nose is fucked up or whatever, I would draw all the teachers and I would draw like. Uh, my peers or students in my lab class, and I would create like comic books for my school. And the comic books got really popular where it would go from my high school, which was St. John's Prep, to like aviation, all other like high schools nearby, because I would actually put like it was kind of like the first world star type thing going on in the 80s and shit because yeah, because if there was a fight after school, I would reenact it in a comic book. If a teacher molested a kid, I would put that in a comic book. If the principal's a piece of shit, I'll draw him as a piece of shit. Or like everything that occurred in like the current 3 or 4 weeks would be in a comic book, and a comic book would be handed around the whole school until it somehow comes back to me, or it don't come back to me. It came to a point where the students were copying them, and just like making copies, and then it became thicker and thicker when other high schools and I had like Decepticons come to the school and fuck us up. I had that in the school. Parents was picking students up, taking them out. Like it was kind of like more of like I don't know what the hell was going on in my mind. But if you look at the comic book, it's a lot of my friends hit me on Facebook. Yo, I have one of your original comic books that you did, and it had like mad like. It's kind of like I don't know, kind of like a cool yearbook where you can see what, and then the comment, like I would draw people, it would look like them, and it would be shit that they went through. Some of it is fucked up, like like bitches getting caught sucking dick and it's them, or you get all kinds of fucked up stories, but it came out like really good, you know what I'm saying? But I was more of like a, I don't know, I always wanted to do graffiti, and I always wanted to like. Be one of those guys, but I was always too pussy to go out there and spray shit up and get locked up, so I kept it in high school. I never really had setbacks. I mean, if you're looking at monetary shit, maybe there was moments I didn't have a job, but I always had a job. I went from DJing for my first artist I DJed for was Juvenile. That's how I was with Cash Money, and I got that from trying to get like South artists on tapes. So New York, as you can see, the East Coast was killing it. It was like the biggest shit. You couldn't fuck with us at all. So nobody gave a fuck about the South, West, who cares? Everything was East. But when I sold tapes, I wanted to sell more tapes. So what I did is I flew down South, and I got the T.I.s and the Trick Daddies, and I got freestyles and songs from all those artists. But one artist was Juvenile. He was like, yo, why don't we do a tape? Let's do a mixtape. And then he just kidnapped me it went from me being there for a week to like DJing like a tour with him. And he introduced me to this thing called the replay machine because his uncle was the DJ. He was like, yo, why don't you just hang with me for like weeks? Let's do this tape. Yeah, and by the way, here's Lil Wayne. This is Lil Wayne right here. Lil Wayne's like maybe 14 or some shit. Here's Young Buck with his 8XT looking like he's gonna rob me and shit. And then that's where I met, Baby, Manny Fresh, and so I kind of like I did Lil Wayne's first mixtape when he was with them little kids and shit. It was like 80 of them. It was like crazy, all these rapping. And I think Kid that's when I first met Kid, but Kid was like 14 with him too. So it's kind of like it went from that whole Cash Money, which was so weird, me coming from Queens. But it makes sense if you see like Drama who left Philly and then went down south and now he does it. It kind of like makes sense if you look at it in that perspective. But I ran from Cash Money, and then I did that stint for like a year and change, and that's before the Lies when I was Puff DJ. So lying with Puff DJ. Now I'm with Juvenile, and then I went from Juvenile to CNN. All that shit went from CNN, and then CNN, I toured with them a little bit, then 50 Cent started coming in. He got shot the fuck up, and then that's where Sean Money called me. He was like, yo, we need a DJ. So I was still with Nori, and at that time, I think it was like a paid thing. I don't know, because back then, DJs weren't getting paid that much. So 50 Cent was like, yo, I'm not interviewing shit. if he's related to you, Shah, bring him over here, and then we'll check him out and we're gonna hire him. I got there, and then I not even an interview. They just asked me some questions. They gave me a vest, and they were like, "Yo, whoever you're with, who gives a fuck? You married? Who gives a fuck? You're gonna be gone for 300 days. Like we're not coming back home." So we just did like 300 shows after that, and then it's been like 50 Cent ever since. Like, but Nori was like, "Damn, man, you took my DJ. You know, you took." I think he had Scarlett at that time. I don't know if he was dating Scarlett. I don't know if he was dating Scarlett or whatever. But Scarlett went to G Unit, so Nori was like, "God damn, you nigga, you took my fucking DJ. You got my bitch over there." Like 50 was like taking everything. Like I was like, "What the hell?" And then ever since then, it's just been, you know, my mixtape somehow got to Paul Rosenberg and his lawyer at that time. I forgot his name. Shit, that's fucked up. That's like my boy too. Fuck, he's gonna kill me when he sees this interview. He's like, well, Paul Rosenberg, partner in crime, who managed Eminem at the same, you know, at that time. That's how he got 50 Cent as the Future. So that first tape, I mean, I just did drops. They gave it to Paul. Paul gave it to M. M was like, "Yo, we signed at 50," and we're all like just bullshitting, like, because back then I had a Benz. Everybody had like nice cars, but 50 had a hoopty. The 50 didn't even have no money yet, and then we just heard on the radio Eminem is looking for 50. He want to sign 50, and then ever since then it just was like, and then that's it. It's all fate though. That's what I like about this hip hop thing, because you can't really plan out a career. You know, if 50 didn't get shot, changes style of rap, because I've known him way before, you know, when he was doing his other albums and stuff, like, you know, Power of a Dollar. He was so different, where when the bullets went through his mouth, it switched up his whole lingo and his, I guess, his technique. So everything is fate. There's not going to be anyone in hip hop that's going to come and do an interview and say, "Yo, this is how I planned it and this is how I mapped it out." That's always been, and then even now, my career is not over yet, because now I'm forcefully doing EDM and trap, and I'm touring. Like I went from like all this, and I toured Waka Flocka, who's like, I did like 128 frat parties last year, which is like insane. Like I never thought they, like, my old ass. First of all, I'm old as fuck. I'm doing some college shit and I'm killing that shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the power of music and the way you put it out there, you can't go wrong. You know, my end game will be radio, of course. When I'm like 80 and shit, I'm hanging with Ted Koppel. He's fucking Ted Koppel ashes in my fucking. But I'm just gonna fucking have that as the end game. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when I came up DJing, I was a security guard. Shout out to all my security niggas out there in them boxes. You know what I'm saying? Doing them crossword puzzles. You know what I'm saying? And not checking shit for $7 an hour. You know, shout out to y'all. I love you guys. You know what I'm saying? But I was a security guard, and I would dub my tapes in my booth at that time. So I used whatever job I had. You know, I would just like bring the tapes in, and just because we had machines back then. So if you had to copy like 5,000 tapes, you can't. You know, I didn't have. You know, the crews came later when I was making more money. But in the beginning, I was literally like, I had like a 9-hour shift. That's 9 hours to dub mad tapes. So if you know a lot of security guards back then, I don't know if they're watching this interview, they're going to be like, yeah, who kid? Sometimes I wouldn't take a lunch break. I'd be like, no, because I got to dub all these tapes. Because I don't know if I should talk about this, but I had DJ Clue's like double machines, but he never knew. You actually would be the first people to get this interview. So yeah, DJ Clue, I think he was dubbing like 20,000 tapes. So he always would wonder why his heads were always like fucked up in the machines. So back then in those double machines, I think they were called 360 or whatever. It would cost like $1,500 to change the heads, because the machines were like $4,000 each. I ain't buying that shit. So what I would do is Clue would dub 20,000, and then I would sneak in his crib and just take like all 3 machines, and because I know he's out, he's dropping the tape, collecting his money, living la vida loca or whatever. So he ain't gonna come back for a month and change. All I need is the machines for 1 or 2 days. And then now he just copied 20,000 tapes. Now here comes my 5,000 little tapes added on. So he's basically copying 25 to 30,000 tapes a month, but didn't even know. And I don't know how much Envy was copying, because Envy copied, back then Envy was copying Clue's tapes, so I'm sure he took advantage and copied with his. So let's just say one machine was copying like 40,000 tapes a month, and he never knew about it. For like years, like 8 years of using his machines, he never knew. So he knows now though, and it's too late. The mixtape shit the game is over. Everything is free. Everything is online, download. So, but he always would wonder why were my heads fucked up? But I had always had Clues machines, and they were like at my job when I worked at JFK, like at Post, like people would be like, "Yo, why does it say DJ Clue on there?" I'm like, "Yo, man, don't worry about it." You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's one of the funniest shits right there. Like I never even told Clue this shit. Ever. Well, he knows now. And I'm gonna say 50 Cent, I want to get beat up, but 50 Cent is the favorite, best artist ever, man. And first of all, I'm not gonna DJ for nobody else. So anything you see me doing now is a collabo. Like, I'm never gonna be nobody's DJ ever again. I'm just gonna be like 50 Cent is, that's it. I am 50 Cent's DJ. It's kind of like joining a mob. Like, you can't get the fuck out. So regardless, I'm always like G-Unit. Always like, that's my DNA, you know what I'm saying? So 50 Cent, I've seen it all. Met like Nelson Mandela, hung out with freaking terrorists and shit. Like I DJ'd for fucking Gaddafi. You know, I wouldn't have met like half the leaders of the world. I wouldn't have met like so many A-list actors. Like you hang with De Niro. You can't just leave here and just hang with De Niro. Like I'm on set with De Niro talking about rims and bitches and bullshit, and like who does that? But only because of my link with 50. 50 is like kind of like a global threat, like a machine that kind of like helped a lot of my career. So I've seen 100,000 with him. I've seen like 500 to 100,000 fans with him, and he don't give a fuck. If there's like 80 people out there, he's gonna still perform like a full show. Me, I'd be like, nigga, let's do the 10-minute shit. Fuck out of here. Nah, we doing the whole shit. Like he's very serious about anything that has to do with his career or hip hop. Like it don't matter. 10 fans, he's going in. You know what I'm saying? And then of course Eminem. I can't say I DJ'd for Eminem, but coming on before him, I think he's the first artist I've seen. I don't know, maybe 300,000 people. Like, so when you see like 300,000 people, like all these guys jumping up and down at these concerts, they got like 10,000, 20,000. There's a difference when you see 300,000 humans with their hands up, and it's like, I don't know, it's just crazy. Like it's a feeling that I'm never gonna forget. But yeah, that got to be it. 50 Cent guaranteed. Radio is something that I didn't think would happen either. Like I said, fate. I just back then, while I was stealing shit, I wanted to get cool with Stretch Armstrong, who did Hot 97. He had a show on Sundays where he would play like exclusives. So he was kind of like more connected with the DJ. He had Jay-Z sleeping over at his crib and all kinds of crazy shit. So I thought that he would be one cool Jewish motherfucker to hang with, you know what I'm saying? So I would give him exclusives because he's not the type that's going to be out there getting shit. People would bring him stuff, but then he didn't understand like stolen stuff. Like I'm like, yo, I got Nas' album and it's not out yet. He'd be like, so he'll play dumb with me, and then my job was to bring him like a few exclusives that he could get away with murder. So he'll play it on his show, and I would get like barely one shout out and barely maybe 30 seconds on radio. Yo, what up, man? And that's it. Like I didn't even talk. I didn't even like click a joke, and I was happy with that because back then, like. That's why I always tell people it's a privilege to be on radio, how powerful it is and how it could just like change your career or blow you up. Now everybody's so fucking spoiled. I want to talk about certain people I know, but they just don't understand the power of radio. Like there's not many flexes out there. There's not many like Ebros. There's not many, big boys. There's not many. You could say like 10 top radio jockeys off the head. There's not thousands of radio. It's hard to get on a ill show and you're popping.
It's hard to be a DJ almost on the radio than a rapper.
And yeah, exactly. So Stretch Armstrong gave me the opportunity where I had 30 seconds every Sunday. So that was good enough for me to sell tapes. You know, I had my Lambo downstairs. I didn't give a fuck. As long as I got a little shout out, that was good. Because back then there was no Instagram, no Twitter, no social media. So that 30 seconds led me to a situation where the World Trade Center bombing occurred. And then his girl at that time was holding both of his pugs, and she lived next door to the bombing shit. So first plane hit or whatever, and she ran out. She's running with both dogs trying to escape. And me and him, we were actually doing a mixtape for Puff, another tape that had nothing to do with whatever trouble I was going through. But I was doing another tape with Puff, but I finished at 8 something, like 9 o'clock, so I could fucking avoid the traffic. So by the time I got home, the whole World Trade, I saw the shit come down for the first time. So I was like, oh shit. So I'm thinking, oh shit, Stretch. Is Stretch dead? Like, cause his studio is like right across from the World Trade Center. So I'm trying to call Stretch. I'm trying to call him, but he ain't picking up. So I'm thinking he's out of here because that shit came down, and then that shit came all the way down to Canal Street from Wall Street. So fast forward, I found out he's alive, but he's crying. He's going crazy. So his girl ran out with the pugs, and one of the pugs jumped off her arm and ran off. So she's like, "Fuck that." I don't know if she said "fuck that," but the World Trade, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know if it's gonna come down. She's just running. The plane hit. She's running. She leaves. She tells them, one of the dogs is missing. So World Trade Center came down. Dog still missing. So he was so traumatized he couldn't do his show that Sunday. So I took over, which here comes the opportunity right here. I think I took over like 1 or 2 times until they actually found the dog. They had like a center where all the surviving dogs were at. And his dog had that's why I call his dog the devil dog, because all the other dogs were missing legs, they were bleeding, fucked up. His dog had no injuries, just dust. So the dog survived the whole shit. So I'm watching him on TV literally kissing his dog on Eyewitness News. Like, Stretch is like he's in love. Like, it was like, and then that ended my little stint. But that one thing of me just being on the show, Mr. C and Flex and Tracy at that time, who was the program before Ebro came on, was like, this guy's a funny dickhead. You know what I'm saying? So then at that time, Clue was moving the power. And then it all made sense. So they put me in Clue slot on Mondays, and then I had my own show. Probably Willie Nelson is weird. That was like one of my all-time favorite. Like, he talked about groupies. He still gets them when he's 90.
Like he's full of fucking stories.
He's still alive. The first thing I told him, I was like, yo, nigga, you still alive? He was like, hell yeah, motherfucker. Like, it's like, you gotta like, when you bring that human connection to anything, then it becomes like a classic situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of other shows out there that's popping. I respect all of them. But they got like machines and fucking, creative marketing. And then they put out, like, it's kind of like whatever they do is pop. I just want my shit to be like, holy shit. Like, I'm not going to get this nowhere else. That's why I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not promoting who's on the show no more. If you don't tune in, then that's your loss. Like, I'm not doing that shit no more. Eminem is on the show. So if I have Eminem on my show, people expect me to go super crazy with him. I know him, and I know how to interview him, but I can't get like all kinds of crazy shit out of him because he's saving that for his marketing. Eminem is a kind of like, he's very like strategic the way he markets his shit, and there's certain info he don't need it to be out, and he always tells me, "Fuck you, man, I'm not telling you shit." So that's another thing too. But I just want fans to know, like, if you don't tune in on the weekends, it's your loss. But it's just random, like how I've learned to make something impossible possible and make it entertaining at the same time. Right now, I know my podcast, everybody's annoying me to do one, so I'm definitely gonna do a Hollywood Shuffle podcast. So that's next on the list of me getting it cracking. My marketing company has always been here. I've helped like all the rappers you see jumping up and down on stage, one way or another. They use me for either mixtapes or marketing, creative marketing, try to make them look cool. So I kind of like mastered that whole aspect of like, and then people pay for that shit. Fuck it. I take 5s and 10s. I'm trying to hide my money from the government. You know what I'm saying? But I've done, if you see, I've done like 600 tapes, and you're like, I mean, I don't have to brag or say anything because I've done almost everybody's shit or have some kind of history behind everybody. You know what I'm saying? So if you go to like, so all right, one is that you go to UK and you see a guy like Giggs is popping. I did Giggs' first mixtape. I did Skepta. I did Tiny Temper. I did like 70% of the UK artists because I didn't want to be just known as an American mixtape guy. So I went out there, and then when you DJ those clubs in the UK, you see that their own artist is killing the club. So if nobody from America is calling them, I want to be the first one. And now when you see I do all their tapes and you see a guy like Drake, all you need is another big artist to come there and open the doorway. Because I kind of like did the body of work. So you got Drake hanging with Skepta, I did his shit. You got Drake bigging up Giggs, I did his shit. It all comes in full circle. All roads lead to, and it don't have to be me. It could be like, it could be drama. It could be like, all these roads lead to the mixtape DJ. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't think there's a difference in the DJ compilation because they're still being used as a marketing tool where the difference is how they're put out there. But if you see like DJ Khaled, like he's very successful with it. Like DJ Clue was the first one to go platinum. You know what I'm saying? But we're really human billboards promoting songs. So there's really no difference. It's just the way, depends on what machine you got to put it out, whoever you hang with. You hang with Jay-Z, can't go wrong. I mean, Khaled is doing the same shit Clue did back in the days. Jay-Z's a billionaire now, so it's going to be in a different format. But there's really no difference. And then I like seeing that shit. At the end of the day, the DJ provides that blanket or kind of like a vest, as I would say, from protection from failure. Because if you put out a single and it's DJ whoever featuring you, if it doesn't go right, you can always blame the DJ, and you have a second chance to put out another single. So we take the hit for it becoming a hit, but we also take a hit for it becoming a whack song. But at the end of the day, it doesn't affect us because the DJ is not considered like, oh shit, I'm never buying this DJ shit. Because the DJ, the outlets, it's like hundreds of doors for the DJ to do shit. So you could have like 30 failures and 10 hits here. It don't matter. Like, we will take the hit. So I like that. Like, you know, and then it keeps me fucking relevant and everybody else out there, I'll tell you that. Oh, we're cool. Everything is like, I mean, it's like personal now. Like, he's worried about my ex-wife issues and, you know, we always talk about what lawyers they get and shit like that. So he's like, with him is like more of a kidnapping thing when it comes to music. So he's busy doing Power and movies and shit like that. So we don't have like, I don't know, everybody thinks that because I'm G-Unit, I have to always hang with him. Like, when we hang together, it's like love, everything is cool. Music-wise, I just got to kidnap his ass. And I will. We already spoke on a few, well, he said he got a few songs already done, and they're in pieces. So all I got to do is just go in there and do what we used to do. And then I just got to, like, either steal the shit and risk my life from getting beat up by his ass, because he is a professional boxer on the low, which means he has deadly hands, so I got to really think about what I'm going to do. But he do got a lot of songs in pieces. And he did, I think he has a joint with Gucci Man coming out soon, so I'm definitely going to steal that shit. But yeah, he has like at least 20-something songs, like in pieces. And he's dealing with, if he should leak it now, the timing of every song in comparison to what's going on out there. So he's comparing about what people are listening to, or should he just say, fuck it, I don't care what people are listening to. Like Kendrick Lamar shit, he don't give a fuck about what's going on out there. My advice now is you're a lucky motherfucker because there's so many opportunities, so much social media shit. You could put money, invest, instead of buying a chain, invest in your Facebook, invest in your, get some nerdy white kids that know how to manipulate all that shit online and pay them $500 a month. Have them work for you. Everybody from Wiz Khalifa to Kendrick to They all have these cool little nerdy white kids that run their social media. So get some college grad or some college kid that's just like a fan of your music, and he'll do all kinds of amazing shit for you. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, you gotta be full 360 with it. You gotta be somebody that people want to be. I'm not saying everybody want to be me, but I ain't gonna be wearing no whack shit. I ain't gonna be fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like this loser shit you shouldn't be doing. Like, try your best to get in fashion, because full 360 now is not just the music. It's, you know, who you hang with, fashion, your peers, like, you know, your style, and find 2-3 artists. One of them is gonna blow. You know, like I said, you in this interview, you heard me. I've bounced from like so many artists where it led me to my final artist, which is 50. But I had so many experiences, and you know, I understand the whole shit. I don't know who's running shit now or who would let them get close. It's unfortunate that I'm cool with, like, you know, Leo Cohen or Jimmy Iovine. Like, I did all that back then. Everybody's old as fuck and rich as fuck, and it's kind of hard to touch them. But you should try to figure out who's the next in line that's like hungry and gonna be the next Chris Lighty or, you know, Russell Simmons. Like, I'll go Russell Simmons right now. You know what I'm saying? But you need to find these kind of guys so that then they'll give you the reality of the business. Because you can't go in, because, you know, back then, hip-hop, people were more into the popularity but not the money aspect. Now is like, you have an opportunity to have both. You get your popularity and you can start touring from your shit. So find some artists. One of them got to blow. Just get 3-4 artists. I mean, that should help me a lot, you know, because you need that connection. Because the DJ shit is a generic, you know, it's like a generic like title, like DJ. So that's why I took my name off, and then I went into radio, where it's just Whoo Kid. Like, Whoo Kid is with this guy, Whoo Kid. People got to see you doing 20 different things, and don't be tough. Like, you know, be creative. I'm not saying make a fool of yourself, but be open. You know, because if you're blocked or in a box here in Atlanta or you're in LA, you see like violence, you see something. Don't be boxed in that world, because when I went to Norway, they don't care about jewelry. They don't care. All they care about is the music or whatever you've done and your skills. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tour relentlessly, and I've DJ'd everywhere. So if you don't know how to read a crowd too. There's so many whack DJs out there, they just want to jump up and down like they're Tiesto. Nigga, read the fucking crowd. If you see nobody's moving, get rid of the song. Point blank, it's simple. You just got to figure out who you are first before you even become a DJ. Like, how do you want people to see you in the next 10 years? You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of shit now. Before it was chicka, 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 and then that's cool too. But it's too much now. I mean, I'm one of the top 8 mixtape DJs from back in the days, the originals. So I went through it all. Almost died too. I don't know if you want to deal with that shit. Almost got killed a few times. There is depends on who you. I don't know if you're a 21 Savage DJ. I don't know, but if you gotta expect, like, if who you with, and just like figure it out. If he's like a dangerous artist, you just gotta like roll with the punches or quit. I didn't quit. I couldn't leave anyway, because 50 Cent's concert was 2.5 hours, and then there was no other DJ that could do a 2.5 hour show. So I couldn't get out of it. So, but like I said, man, just be creative, get your fashion up, or, you know, fuck with some bitches or some shit. I don't know. I always had women around me. I mean, you just got, and then production-wise, producers too, sorry, add that too. Get cool with a lot of producers. You know, I'm fortunate to know Dre, you know, DJ Premier and all the classic guys, but I also know Metro Boomin, Southside's my boy. You just gotta like be up to date, you know. I'm an old head, so I gotta like, it's harder for me because I gotta understand what's coming up, and I gotta think 2-3 years ahead. And if I think I'm gonna quit like in 3-4 years, I gotta kill myself in the next 3 years with what's going on now. So you can watch how I do it, but just do it in your own way.